Alright, so Goji Center uploaded a video of 7 predators that ate humans. So I'm assuming it could either be back in the day, like prehistoric times, or maybe even after that, or nowadays. Like, this image looks like an hyena, but it could also be an ancestor of it. So I'm quite excited to see what predators he's going to talk about. But without further ado, let's get straight into it, because this is going to be a massacre.
Today, we wind back the clock tens of thousands of years where humans were less predator and more prey.
Let's go.
Our ancestors had it rough, and there were a lot of things that they had very good reason to be afraid of. On this episode of Goji Center, we find out who cut some branches short on the human family tree, with 7 of the deadliest ancient predators that kept the human population in check. Showcasing 7 simulations of each kill, some backed up by the fossil record itself and present-day evidence. In the modern world, it's quite evident that humans are the indisputable masters of the planet. Even apex predators like lions would steer clear once they got a whiff of Homo sapien. Don't think we are the apex species? You answer this question. Yes.
Alright, sorry about that cut. I just was making sure the audio was recording correctly.
Sitting on a couch, your bed, car seat, whatever. Comfortable watching this video. Bet the last thing you're worried about right now is getting ambushed by a big cat,
me slouching on my chair right now.
A bunch of wild dogs. See? Evidently, the human race has established itself head and shoulders above the other animals thanks to technological breakthroughs, weaponry, population, and the nefarious effects of our own ecological footprint. So much that most other big animals know not to mess with humans. Most of the time.
Oh, however, my word, that lady just got abducted.
Always like this. Back when we were a lot fewer and a lot less armed, the playing field was more even, and the odds got tilted in the other direction sometimes. And one of the most unexpected threats was encountered in one of the last places ancient humans ever reached. When the
weren't prehistoric humans, weren't they physically stronger than we are now? I'm not sure. Could be a thing. I don't know.
First Aboriginal explorers.
It would make sense how they survived against stronger predators back then, so they would have to have some sort of advantage over what we have now.
And giant cousins of Komodo dragons still
Komodo dragon and alligator. That's a big ass.
The most common and deadly apex predator to find these first Australians has one of the most innocuous looking relatives surviving today.
What is that?
Thylacoleo carnifex. The executioner pouched lion is related to, of all things, this.
Koala.
No, seriously, show some respect to these fellas the next time you see them. They used to eat us.
That's
far
crazy.
More common than the giant reptiles of its native continent, and sporting bladed teeth shaped like bolt cutters backed by a chomping force of 700 newtons.
Oh, that is freaky. What the heck?
Could have been living in the same place
That's
as these
nightmare
early settlers
right
were. Cave art tens of thousands of years old depicting a hunter breaking their spear trying to fend off this murderous marsupial makes it very clear this was a species to be feared and absolutely caused fatalities. With 4 to 6 inch long thumb claws that left marks in stone and good adaptations for climbing, Thylacoleo might well have dropped down from the trees onto unsuspecting victims. We can already sense the sweat running down ARC players' foreheads. That's right. One of the most diabolical methods of getting murked in this game.
This is a massive. Hold on.
We can already sense.
Bro's just chilling up here in a tree. And he's like,
the sweat running down ARC players' foreheads. That's right. One of the most diabolical
This isn't much bigger than that image showed it was.
And the cause of many near cardiac arrest instances in ARC Survival Evolved is getting killed by the
it is ARC, so everything is way overdone there.
Feels like, emotionally at least. Think you have it bad?
Tell
that to your ancestors, who had to deal with the physical damage as well. An unsuspecting human would get seized by the neck with the spinal cord either being snapped in between its atypical teeth, or those giant thumb claws would be put to use eviscerating and disemboweling a target soon after they hit the ground. The Americas were some of the last places any human stepped foot in, and for some, it might have been their last. There was a nasty surprise awaiting them when the first explorers reached the Americas over 25,000 years ago. One of the largest apex predators North America had seen since T-Rex, and it had a big appetite.
That's a big
fossil
bear.
site studied in 2011 suggested that Paleo-Indian hunters stored some of their kills underwater to hide the smell of their food from this predator.
That's pretty smart.
Arctodus, the apex of apex predators in Ice Age North
in the bag
America,
or
was
what?
everything
Like made out of
terrifying
leather?
about a grizzly bear and and then multiplied. Some record-shattering individuals could weigh over a ton and be as tall as to look into a 2-story window.
Yogi Bear
like
on roids.
Modern grizzlies, these spectacled bears on steroids were what is called hypocarnivores, meaning they ate a lot of plants as well. This is the opposite of a hypercarnivore that is almost exclusively carnivorous. This might initially sound better, but there are two big snags to trying to coexist with such a thing. This means that even just trying to harvest berries and other wild crops in season carries the risk of a big bear going for the exact same food sources it will not be happy to share. A kleptoparasite, put simply, is an animal that steals food or resources from another animal. Arctodus was already used to bullying away and ambushing other predators to take over their kills. And with a sense of smell multiple times more keen than a bloodhound, you can make one guess as to which way it's going to start running after a Paleo-Indian hunting party makes a kill. Now, imagine trying to sleep at night after a successful bison hunt, knowing a 1-ton bear is closing in without any walls to keep it out. Getting rushed and mauled by an irate bear is anything but subtle. A victim would be charged and knocked to the ground after a smack by the almost foot-wide paws tipped with 5-inch long claws.
That would cover your entire head and just smack your head off your shoulders.
Not kill every time. Bears rarely bite the throat like other predators. Instead, the victim is repeatedly stomped, clawed, and chomped across the body and chest. Softer tissues like the nose and ears might be torn off as the skin is flayed.
I would have thought it did more damage.
If it decided to use the full force of its jaws to pop a human skull like a grape. The full force of its jaws to pop a human skull like
just a little grape.
A grape.
Just a grape.
Dogs are man's best friend. Tell that to one of your Eurasian ancestors, and they'd think you're an idiot. Back in the old world, things were not always the way things are today. We aren't talking about the dire wolves or North American gray wolves that did and still do largely avoid humans. The Eurasian gray wolves weren't any larger than their New World counterparts, but that didn't make them any less dangerous. Quite the opposite.
Feisty little
Having
buggers.
Hundreds of thousands of years to familiarize themselves with early species of humans like Homo erectus and Neanderthals, gray wolves hunted down a niche humans fit into perfectly. Whether alone or in a pack, canines dispatch targets in a grisly manner.
This is no caveman. This bro knows how to box. What is this shit?
Softer areas, wolves bite down,
bro doesn't even know how to block. What a fool.
After sinking their teeth in. Bites to the areas with a lot of arteries like the joints and groin, and the blood vessels.
The groin, bro. Why the groin?
Jumps to the belly might involve disembowelment. Ever hear the saying, you are what you eat? Scientists can look at the teeth and bones to determine what certain animals were eating. So, for instance, if a prey animal eats certain types of plants, their remains have unique chemical signatures. So, the predators that eat these prey animals will have similar signatures to their prey because they take on the chemicals from the animals they consume.
Makes sense.
One certain collection of animal bones found along with their suspected hunter in South Africa was initially seen as strong evidence of a natural predator of humans. Dinofelis, the terrible cat, was found associated with the human bones, and it was assumed this species of saber-tooth might well have been a natural predator for us. But there were many different types of saber-toothed slashers alive at the time, and isotopic evidence from the year 2000 later showed they got the wrong cat.
Bro. Just pausing here for a little bit so you guys have some time to read it.
This wasn't what was eating some of the humans. This was Meganterium.
That looks like a tiger mixed with a Smilodon.
4 inches long would have been put to use to stab open the throats of big hooved animals after the prey was grabbed and slashed with the retractable 3-inch long hooked talons. But these cats were nothing but creative and adaptable when encountering humans.
Evolved from
Holes punched into the skulls of prey animals, rival cats, and one ancient human from a fossil site in Europe show that sinking the big tooth into the brain case would get the job done quickly and
either way, they're still freaking crazy today.
Despite being a gnarly spectacle, the human victim
that's going all the way down to your skull.
I
mean, down to your spine, down your skull.
Water is essential to life, but today taking a
sip... who's living out there? These poor people out here. These people are prone to attacks. There's vast wilderness. At least they're very close to water.
Essential to life, but today taking a sip from the riverside comes with a side of irony, given that in this source of life, death can also spring forth. Lurking under the surface are ambush predators that could wait for weeks between meals. As a 2010 study confirmed, hooved antelope to other predators like lions were on the menu. But also, numerous fossil teeth marks and crushed bones show that humans were not absent in this list. From the modern Nile crocodile, Crocodylus niloticus, to multiple prehistoric cousins, like the horned Crocodylus anthropophagus, whose species name even means man-eater, to the largest true crocodile ever, the nearly 30-foot Goliath that was the largest true crocodile to ever live, Crocodylus thorbjarnarsoni.
7.6
Bite marks on the legs and feet show these were the most targeted areas, meaning the unfortunate victim was probably grabbed in either drinking or getting water from the riverside. With a bite force measured in the thousands of newtons,
skull on the way down as well.
62 teeth in their maws, bone can be shattered and muscles shredded with every bite. Modern Nile crocs are even known to work cooperatively to a degree, with multiple crocs grabbing onto different limbs and individually death rolling to draw and corner the unfortunate target. A gigantic thorbjarnarsoni might have been big enough to just engulf a whole human and pulverize them in a single bite, or swallow them whole. Crocodilian digestive acids are known to not even leave bone, and thus zero evidence. Who knows how many countless humans were snuffed from existence in the bellies of these beasts? Heading north, numerous caves and preserved dens across Eurasia often showed the same repeated patterns over and over again. Piles of pulverized human and animal bones with null marks all over them. Homo sapiens and our brawnier Neanderthal cousins, young and old alike, torn apart alongside big game like elk and bison. Telltale indents of fang marks punched right into the bone show the culprit to be cave hyenas. Present-day spotted hyenas might be an enigmatic sight in the African Serengeti, but the species once ranged far and wide across Eurasia, led by a matriarch
look at those
group
things,
of hyenas
bro.
called a clan, in groups that
so
can be
ugly.
a few to a few dozen individuals. Prey is swarmed all at once from multiple angles, and unlike wolves, these spotted predators are not picky about where they bite, and often chomped right into the bone.
Food, bro.
With a chomping force of 900 newtons on their huge slicing molars, limb bones might be broken and fingers or toes amputated with just a few bites. If the prey isn't disemboweled
you getting
alive,
chased and you just have to trip on nothing?
Dr. Grant,
what a fool.
You are alive when they start to eat you. Up next,
hold on.
Grant,
bro got flipped over like it was a piece of paper. That was so easy for them.
Up next,
what the heck?
a stealthy assassin that has been preying on apes for millions of years. In the depths of a South African cave, scientists uncovered the remains of almost 100 human specimens across multiple species. Many showing signs of broken skulls were once thought to be evidence of ancient warfare between prehistoric humans. Some scientists even speculated warfare was what drove human evolution. Our bipedal stance to better wield weapons and a sharp mind to put sharp tools to work against each other. Called the killer ape hypothesis, this discarded theory, ironically enough, would wind up killing itself when these supposed murder victims turned out to be covered in teeth marks from a creature they were probably terrified of. This wasn't a trophy room with victims of war. It was a dining table of something's leftovers. Unlike the rest of the predators on this list, which largely just targeted humans on occasion, the killer here was arguably the closest things humans have ever had to a natural predator. Leopards.
Yeah,
Despite
leopards.
being one of the smallest
I said jaguars, but
leopards have been
leopards.
primate predators for millions of years. So much that pressure from their predation might have helped motivate apes to have better cooperative skills to survive. After all, some of the earliest human fossils from over 6 million years back show clear signs of getting ganked by these spotted stealth hunters. So, why is it that the leopard, of all things, posed such a huge threat? A 100 to 200 pound cat with a bite force of only 600 newtons across the jaw doesn't seem much compared to other predators. The answer is actually quite simple. Leopards like to eat two things, deer-sized prey and primates. And we just so happen to be deer-sized primates, the worst kind of Venn diagram. An isotropic study further proved that leopards were actually the culprits behind a lot of primate and human killings. So, how would these kill? Let's find out. Victims are usually tackled from an ambush, and it's full-scale attack from all angles, with the claws slashing open the groin, belly, or arms as bites are aimed at the face. Quick kills have their throats torn out. Other attacks might involve splitting the skull and biting right into the brain case. Two fangs would be more than double the bite force.
Bro, your eyes just gonna pop, become liquid.
Creative with that bite. Conflicts with leopards still happen today, often from human
Leopard went for a
encroachment into
freaking crocodile. That's
habitat.
crazy.
But count your blessings that today most big cats avoid humans. Some of your ancestors thousands of years ago had a very good reason to be afraid of nightfall, with the possibility of never waking up again. Next time you wake up and start whining about having to get up early at 6 a.m. for work or early class, be happy that the problem of the day isn't getting eaten by a giant cat.
That is very factual. We can be so grateful we can wake up and then all we worry about is my coffee ready? No, we have far less worries than they did back in the day. But shit's sake, that was insane. Bro, those cave hyenas are so creepy. Hyenas are just so creepy. Damn. The bear was massive. That was so sick. I really did like the bear. Where was it? Look at this thing.
A lot of plants as well.
It's massive. Sheesh. Anyway. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. Go like and subscribe there by Goji Center. They deserve it. And I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace out.